Hello everyone and welcome to the part 3 of my 46 days speedrun of the mysterious island. And we just made a move with Elmore, and he has only 5 corpicores, and I think it's it makes sense to talk about his options. So he needs to get to Nemo, to the middle of the map, and he'll have to go through at least one fight. And as you can see, I gave him basically 0 army. He has 5 Scorpicores. And there are actually a few options. So I sent him from my own entrance, and there will be some satyrs for him to pick up on the way. And that helps a lot. That's why I can send him with just 5 Scorpicores, but you could also send him from a different place. For example, I considered also sending him from Teal location, but it turned out a bit too complicated in terms of logistics, unfortunately. So I decided to use my own ground, but if I decided to send him from the Teal, for example, I would then want to chain an army that I used to clear this part of the map to him, and it is possible to do actually, so it's not that difficult. And so basically you have some options. That's what I wanted to say, more or less. Okay, so that's gonna be one of the probably, I think, more interesting fights in that playthrough. It could be eye-opening, I think, in some way, for some. So as you can see, this army is not really that big, and it has to deal with a stack of 360 satyrs with a very solid support, actually. And obviously I don't have magic here. That's also a very significant factor, obviously. So it is a bit complicated here because first fight is against Ifrits, and I don't want these Ifrits to kill one stack I have. And also I wanted to try and avoid losing a Scorpicore to Fire Shield there, which I was unable to do. And so that's the fight. Okay, that's not 360 satyrs, but it's 315. That's still a very sizable army. So basically my goal here is to avoid any hits from satyrs, and that's a hard task to do. They have a very solid speed, and at the same time I want to kill every other stack on the battlefield, and therefore I will reduce damage that I take from them, right, in the process. And when I deal with them, I will be dealing with satyrs. Satyrs are very well placed right now, so they are far away from other units that I can actually engage more or less safely with, and they're also not reaching up top edge, so basically my Titans are pretty safe there. I guess I will use Evil Eyes to attack lizards. Okay, I use Pit Lords. For a moment I thought that I would move Pit Lords back to Titans, but that was also an option. Evil Eyes would deal significant enough damage to lizards. So I lost so far like 4 Scorpicors and around 17, 16 Dragonflies, something like that. And maybe 5 Pit Lords, right? So this Satyr position is not great. So they do reach to the very bottom, so I actually will have to do something about my units' positions here. Now, my goal at this point to figure out which of my units is the highest priority for Satyrs. So I'll try to move them to different sides. Let's see what I actually do right now, but basically, let's say I move Titans back to the up left corner, and now, depending on where Satyrs go, I can understand what they want. So they still want to stick to Titans, right? They chose Titans over any other unit. And so I basically can use everyone else to hit them. Now you see, change their target. So now I again wanna figure out which of my units in that side of the battlefield they prefer. So it seems like Titans should be less of a priority now. Probably maybe the Satyr stack is not as big anymore, so that's why they changed the target. So okay, so at least I know right now that it's not Scorpicors and Dragonflies, right? And not Titans, obviously. But it was clear from the previous turn already. So now I will be using Titans to deal damage, and I will be using my Pit Lords, Harpies and Evil Eyes to move around. But ideally I also want to figure out which one of those is a desired target, so I'll have an interesting idea there. Maybe a couple of turns later. You can actually deduce some of these priorities from little details about how AI moves its units. Okay, so I actually have to move Evil Eyes to this corner. Okay, it was not intended, obviously, but okay, luckily, it was not Evil Eyes, and I think it was pretty obvious, if I'm completely honest. So I think it's Harpies at this point. I feel like it must be Harpies that's Satyr's priority. They might also be trying to stay away from Titans a little bit, so that Titans would not be able to hit with a straight arrow. You can see how I put units up right side, and I put Harpies like in a hole there, and you see that Satyrs went all the way to the right. So to me it says that they do really prioritize Harpies at this point. Because if they wanted to go to any other unit, they would not go this far to the right side, kind of trying to go around the Scorpicore there. So I can actually move everyone back and kind of continue without having multiple units that I move around constantly. Okay. Okay, lost patience in the end, but as you can see, losses are actually very, very small. And Dessa got learning, and getting learning gave Dessa basically 3 more levels. Now we can say that Dessa's development is more or less, I mean, you could say final, for now at least. I don't have to develop Dessa further, and I need to take the tent right away. Now I want to move Dessa to the white tent, or the tent of the brown player, and obviously I will visit a library on my way. That would be a huge waste of the opportunity if I didn't. And this army that I have in the green domain, I will have to move to other locations through the Bloodbath. That's my plan. Okay, Gurnison prepared basically the army for the white tent garrison. Ayden is still lacking in development, so I need to develop him quite a bit, but fortunately there are some trees of knowledge on the map, some hermit checks that will help me develop hero skills, so that's at least something of a meaningful help. Also help Dessa with speed here. It's day 7, so I will want to keep Ayden around stables here. Okay, so I hired Celestine there so that she could shuttle the army to Gunnar next day. And this day he could have maximum speed. He's gonna fight another garrison for a purple tent. So one thing that I actually need to do here is that, well, at some point, very soon, I am getting to the Nautilus, right? And I will start the endgame at this point. And there are some requirements for my endgame. In particular, I need some units, namely phoenixes and, for example, Jotuns as well, and some other units as well, but like primary are phoenixes and Jotuns. And at this point, as you can see, I don't have any phoenixes. I have a town with Jotuns though, but that's about it. And I hired some units for Geon so that he could defend against a Teal hero nearby. And Damakon actually set up to have phoenixes to be chained to him next day when it's day 1 of the week. So there are guaranteed phoenixes in a conflux that I don't have right now, but I will take it. And he will go with these phoenixes to the Bloodbath. He's level 16, so he can enter the Bloodbath. And by the way, this hero actually taught Geon. Geon has the Eagle Eye, and he taught Geon an animate death spell. So funny enough, his own spells will be his undoing. I need to keep this town at all cost because it's my outpost here to actually take the conflux next day. That's very important. I just figured out that I can see enemy spells there. That's nice. Well, I mean, casting Earth protection from Earth with Magma Elemental was It's a very interesting decision. And on none other than skeletons as well. It's kind of pretty crazy. Okay, he's run out of mana, and I still have some spell points. At some point you can sell all the excess units in a stronghold. It could be a little bit of a problem to shuttle them there this early, but when you have all tents, it's definitely not that difficult. Probably do it in one day, maybe at most in 2 days, not using many heroes in 2 days for sure. And money is kind of a factor. So that's week 6 begins. Day 36, I guess. So you may wonder when do I intend to start winning? Might be thinking that it doesn't seem like I'm winning already, does it? As you can see, I dismissed the Quattle there. It was not. I mean, it was intended, but in a way, just I don't need Quattle here. Any centaurs are fine, and I will be sacrificing all of them obviously here. So once again here, my idea is the following. Obviously I will be blocking elves turn 1, and after having a few attempts here, I saw that enemy satyr stack was gravitating towards a 200 stack and not really keen to be close to my 340 satyr stack, so I kind of set them up in the beginning so that they would all kind of go separate a little bit, so that I could reach both elves right away. And here unfortunately I just couldn't find a better way, so I did have to take a hit here and lost 6 satyrs. Not terrible. It's not bad. 6 satyrs is definitely acceptable price to pay. So I will take this town. It's always nice to have your hero, some of your heroes at least, garrison at some point, so you actually have a few extra slots to work with. I mean, if you garrison one hero, it's 1 slot, and also stables, free stables. And I'm very upset that this AI did not build angels yet. Kind of disappointed. We'll have to use Griffin for speed boost, which is not a very significant speed boost, if you ask me. And Rashka is going actually to a very bad place. He doesn't yet know that. And I did not know that as well, but there's gonna be one more surprise actually. Kind of, you know, like plot twist, so we say. Hollywood, almost Hollywood level plot twist. Maybe even bigger than Hollywood. So just make sure you watch. I think, yeah, it's gonna be in the next part. The next part is gonna be the last part. It's gonna feature a turn that I did not want to split across several parts, and that's why my second and third parts are a little bit shorter than 2 hours. Second part was hour and a half even, and that's because of just one turn that will take 25 hours, and I didn't want you to take any breaks there. Yeah. And if you want to take a break there, you may have to do an unspeakable and use a pause button. Okay, so we are actually doing the softening of the white tent garrison. Same way basically I did in my first playthrough. Now at least I know a bit better what am I doing and why am I doing it, and my goal here is to degrade the Wolf Raider stack. So that's upgraded Wolf Riders. That's kind of important. I actually did not realize it when I was playing it first time, that it was basically my ticket to clear this garrison with a small force. Now I do realize that. And I will explain you why. So as you can see, all 3 bottom automatons explode on Wolf Raiders. That's basically my top priority. And also I hire what are these heroes called? I mean, factory heroes. You don't have to hire them really. I use Todd because he has additional bonus speed for automatons, which frankly is not really that important. I kind of liked actually explosions of a different hero a little bit better, because you know, they are I don't know, like he can explode into the 3 bottom stacks here. Okay, I messed up again, did I? Yeah, I did. Okay, sorry about that. So I can explode into 3 bottom stacks, but actually exploding a couple of times into orcs could be slightly more beneficial. And you can use any hero, but you want, I mean, not any faction almost, but the requirement is that they need to have level 1 creature with speed 5 at least. So that would be, well, you can't have Rampart as orange, so let's think about it. So it could be Inferno, right? Imps have speed 5 if I'm not being stupid. Obviously Conflux. And I guess Factory. Also Stronghold, right? So all this will be able to reach the garrison in one day. Okay, I almost made a mistake there. Got a hold of myself. That's okay. Probably messed up there, but actually it might have been a lucky mistake, now that I think about it. Maybe fully removing wolf raiders was not actually desirable. And I'm actually lucky that green did not come to the underground there. Kind of went to some other places, and I had a decent way to retreat my heroes. And Ayden will go and now take over the garrison. Now having to hire all these units is, as you can see, very expensive. Obviously I could have saved a little bit on that. Didn't really try to do that with smaller army, frankly. And maybe I should have. Now, probably didn't have to bring all these armadillos and mechanics. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have visited, actually. It's day 1. Kind of wasted a little bit. Wasted the magic spring. So, why did I want to degrade the wolf raiders? So, if you you can wind it back to see the starting position, but initially nomads are blocked from the bottom side by wolf raiders. And so my idea is to basically provoke wolf raiders to attack me right away, so I need to put my quattles within their range to do that. Otherwise they will be waiting, and if they wait, then nomads will take the turn first, and nomads will go along the upper edge. And if they go along upper edge, there is basically no way for me to keep them away from halflings there. So basically that's why I wanted to degrade the wolf raider stack, so that they did not wreck quattles, which I will be using to bait them into attack. And now it's pretty simple, as you can see. Also, obviously, automatons helped reduce other stacks, so that I will have a bit easier time dealing with them. It was an expensive adventure though. I think my money is kind of extremely low again. Okay, so he moves. Well, it was the same basically. Just one more turn to delay him, like this. And then I can use mechanic once to delay him a little bit more. I'm not really concerned that he will hit armadillos. Even if he does, I don't really care that much. And if he doesn't, well... I mean, he's not likely to hit them. They are a much stronger unit. So Ayden still did not get all he needed. That's annoying. But at least there is a guarantee that I will have expert water with next level up. That's at least something to be happy about. So it's time to go after phoenixes. And I have only 21,000 left. That's actually almost pathetic, and I have to do that. I have to hire a hero to just do one trade. Otherwise, I am one step too slow. So I hired a hero to just do that, so to make a trade between these heroes, so that none of them had to take this turn. And Gunnar is basically step in step to reach this town. And Sinka also doesn't have turns to spare, moves to spare. Also, I saved a little bit money and hired only 3 phoenixes, not 4. And I'm out of money. Have only 5,000 left. Kind of actually ridiculous. I had 75,000 gifted to me. So Automaton initiates the trade so that Sinka could attack wyverns and retreat. Okay, I think I may have misplayed here. Maybe I'm not. No, okay. No, I confused it with something. Gion actually visited stables. So that was what I was confused about. Automaton will have to beat these poor Black Knights with 3 Phoenixes. And Elmore is... Unfortunately, I did not take the white tent yet. But this fella will take the tent. Good old friend Gurnison. Trading some ore to get coatls for speed. And Dessa will go for the library. So I want to use this final basically day or two I have to visit 1 or 2 libraries I can with my primary heroes. And I traded for 2 Jotuns here. I'll use them for speed. 8 speed is basically not that great, but it's better than what these heroes had. And I still need Jotuns next day, so... Well, maybe not next day, but very, very shortly. Yeah, actually next day already. And I have no money, that's actually impressive, I think. Now that is impressive. Also, actually, this purple hero there that came to a castle where Gunnar is garrisoned is actually pretty fortunate. Kinda wasn't planned, but turned out to be very useful. Gunnar definitely appreciated very much. Hey, starting to kind of, I don't know, pick up some chests on the way. No, without having no money, basically. Okay, Sinka doesn't have to go into the tower. I want her to pick up archmages, but she doesn't have to go inside to do that. I can hire another hero. So I can collect these chests actually. Elmore has movement points to spare. And also it's some money, at least. Quite useful actually. I'll take this garrison on my way, because there is a Pandora box behind it. I don't really need this Pandora, but just use this fight as an opportunity to boost Elmore a little bit. And the plan is to kill them, paralyzing them every turn. Not just kidding. That would be funny actually, right? If one Scorpicore could have killed them all. Just need maybe like 300 and something paralyzes in a row. That's not too many. Maybe I could have actually picked up a few chests there behind purple garrison, but I don't think that I can do too much. Although there are some boosts behind these garrisons as well, so maybe you can actually squeeze a little bit of money by picking up chests there and using boosts to get your movement back. So this is basically an ultimate challenge for the hero that goes here. Definitely a not so easy fight. He has resurrection, but obviously taking hits with satyrs is ill-advised. Effectively, I want to do the same, more or less, as I did with garrisons. I want to split up units in some way. And I don't mind maybe one hit on satyrs. Like worst case scenario, maybe like if I let juggernauts hit them. That is gonna be acceptable. Very, very nice split. Once I deal with automatons and big bad robots, it's gonna be basically rather trivial. So what I want to do here is remove retaliations with Scorpicores and then hit with satyrs. And they should be following the right side Scorpicore, because they don't really want to go towards satyrs. So I want to give them that other target to follow. That's unfortunate. Definitely, I should consider taking other units some way. Kind of no really great alternatives for the dungeon though. But maybe, I don't know, maybe if I could save the Ifrits from Rashka, they may be fine. Although there are just only 5 of them, so... or only 3. Kind of... Ideally you want to have 6. I actually brought 5 Scorpicors, because that's all I had, really. So ideally you would want 6 units. And Ifrits would be actually fine to sacrifice as well. So I actually wouldn't have to resurrect them. Scorpicors are also kind of actually fine to sacrifice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember it was so annoying actually. Wasting 2 Scorpicors like this is kind of painful. Okay, at least both of them are sacrificed. Well, I mean, paralyzed. Okay, that is actually pretty stupid. Definitely could have saved some mana, if not those 2 unfortunate paralyzes. And also I actually don't have to resurrect all of them. I may just not resurrect any, I mean like just 1 more to remove final retaliation and just finish off. So I could have saved 60, oh wait, 80 mana actually. And why do I think about it is basically, well, it's gonna be a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. It's not gonna be in this part, but for a moment I had my soul crushed basically by this map. It's a little bit later, and that's why this is not a 42 days speedrun, but 46 speedrun. 46 days. Kind of 4 days difference. It's in part because of that. In part also because I wanted to show you my actual plan. Could have done it faster, maybe like a couple of days. And you see Rashka actually did not realize he's gonna be facing an upgraded stack there. So I lost a hero with expert logistics and pathfinding. Very unfortunate actually. Heroes like this are extremely useful. Extremely useful. Okay, got some money back. I could have maybe prepared a little bit better for this trade. So I collected some items before. From Geon and Damakon, I think. But obviously I could have collected them a little bit earlier from a little bit more heroes, because I definitely have some artifacts that I could use like this. So, okay, so there is... I don't remember, I kind of actually lost my thought. I was telling you about the thing that crushed my soul there. You'll see that, but why did I mention it? I think, yeah, okay, so I was talking about Elmore, saving some mana with Elmore. So, this problem that actually cost me, like, at least would cost me 1 or maybe 2 days, at least. This problem will not be present in, or is not present in current latest version, because of course, as you know me very well, I went to complain and browbeat to map author right away, and I was very pleading and crying, and basically he had to, give up and change his map so that he would save my mental fortitude, he added a town, like a useful objective there, but you would have to bring some army to some decent army and decent hero with some mana, ideally, to handle that. So that's my last level up for Ayden. He has 2 undeveloped skills, and it means that he's gonna be guaranteed expert water magic next level up. His pathfinding is still basic, but okay, that's definitely secondary to water magic at this point. Maybe a bit unfortunate that he didn't get it earlier, but he would have to sacrifice 2 other skills, obviously. And I think it's kind of actually probably best that he did not, that he actually sacrificed 2 level ups of pathfinding, maybe. Kind of maybe not the most important skill for him, specifically. Yeah, I think I will be. Yeah, at this point I still don't yet know what is about to happen. And this hero, as I mentioned, was very helpful. It helped Gunnar teleport some other place. Thank you very much, Purple AI. And this other place is to go clear the Bloodbath. So my intent was to send Lorelei there, but I actually did not realize that she's not high enough level. Kind of was a little bit of a disappointment there. But in general, my hero development so far has been very good. I developed all except Ayden up to this point, to at least like thinking about required development. Okay, sorry about that. Forgot to trade the gems. Wasted the turn, wasted one move there, which actually could be quite important. I don't remember exactly if Gunnar moves there are like one step tight. Not sure, but it's kind of very close. You'll see, it's kind of like a question of a couple of minutes. Okay, trading. Okay, yeah, I was concerned. Trading Mercury. Unheard of. Interesting. Why didn't I hit using Dragonflies previous turn? Looks like a stupid mistake. Doesn't matter, but nonetheless a stupid mistake. Okay, I didn't make it again at least. Okay, I mean, I don't know why. Seems almost as if I'm concerned of retaliation there. Okay, so Automaton doesn't have wisdom, so his magic is actually pretty bad there. But he has firewall, an utterly broken spell. For fights like this anyway. Kind of maybe not really clean execution on my part, but it's fine. Good enough. That's all matters. That's all that matters for me. Okay, that's yeah, not great placement. Okay. Just don't look at this, okay? It's not really great. I want to save a little bit of mana, I guess. I don't know. Kind of a very cheap thing to do. But now my path to Bloodbath open, and by the way, this location, purple player's location, has the shortest path to Bloodbath if you're playing. It kind of is very close to the secondary rampart town. Okay, so I want to trigger this event with Gunnar. It's a one-time small boost. This way he gets a little bit of movement. So the idea here is that there is a repeatable boost event to the north from here, very close. So Automaton, having lots of movement, will clear this area, clear path towards this boost, and Gunnar will then be able to reach it. And with his huge, well, not huge, but very large movement pool, is gonna be able to clear most of the Bloodbath the very same day. Got some meat with medusas and demons. Also, they don't spoil my morale, which is quite important. I already have Inferno and Dungeon units. Works out decently for me. Also, this area has a large amount of resources, which is extremely important because there is a quest card that I will have to go through in the volcano that asks for a decent number of every resource, and money as well, so kind of actually not an easy goal. But we can get a very decent number of resources here, and we can trade the excess, which is important. I won't have to do that because of the problem that I wasted 4 days, but at least this was an option. If I didn't, it would give me some way to get the missing money. Okay, finally dealing with these pixies. Terrible pixies. Gurnison, by the way, in case you don't remember, I actually dismissed him, did not retrieve him, and he was available in a tavern because his level is not high enough to be considered a high level hero. Actually, he's very close though. He now got a level 7, which is pretty close. Okay. I did get some experience with this flag that map makers can toggle, that basically disable your ability to hire level heroes. When I was playing Lime's inferior map some time ago, and it turned out that it's not strictly bound to experience, but it's kind of maybe it's bound to primary stats, maybe it's kind of a mix of the two. So level 6 is normally should be able to come back, but level 7 like 50-50 in my experience, likely depending on primary stat boosts. And level 8 was kind of very rare, but in Lime's inferior there is basically you hire heroes in stronghold or fortress towns, so basically they get their attack or defense boosted right away. And there are like 6 towns like that, so kind of as you play, your heroes get more attack and defense, and they kind of this primary skill points actually probably becomes way more prevalent for them in that map. So maybe level 8 is still hireable if you did not visit attack skill boost, maybe even level 9, who knows. But that's kind of very close, at least, to the threshold. So basically goal is to reach the yellow portal in every direction. There was a slowdown event that we have to trigger if we don't have black tent, which we don't yet. It's gonna be next day that we get access to it. And well, basically this way you kind of can do almost everything. Keep speed 11 units, get maximum speed, enter portal, go clear next place. Here I just collect some stuff here. You can do basically, can do it basically infinitely. The fact that it's a logistics specialist obviously helps, and I skipped. Fortunately, I was concerned that I would skip it, but I skipped most of this, so Gunnar cleared most of the stuff there. Okay, so I actually thought that this very disappointing moment will be in the next part, but it's actually in this part, so I will be crying here. Maybe I will mute myself, I don't know. Kind of don't pay attention to like occasional sobs, maybe you might hear. We're not yet at this point though. I'm just kind of a foreshadowing, okay? If you want to see like an emotional, distraught, I don't know, something that is not a human even, you're gonna have to stick around. Actually didn't think I will. I thought that I will be fighting garrison in the Bloodbath this day, but okay, that is weird. But I guess I actually did not realize. Oh my goodness. How well do I know my own playthrough? Gee. Okay, so that's what you see is basically me skipping turns. So that's already after the point that I actually realized that there is a big problem, and you'll see this problem in the next part. That I did not mistake. But in order to show you, I just loved my plan too much. Sorry about that. So I kind of actually wanted to show you the plan, like the way it was intended to go, and it is gonna be possible to play like that in the future. So that's why I wanted to stick to the plan and not like make an adjustment that's gonna make it like slower 1 or 2 days. But the fact that, so I skipped previous turn right away, and I made like a couple of hero moves this way, this turn, because of the skipping I have to account for AI movement a little bit. So I moved Lorelei, and I will not make a move with Lorelei when I need her. So I made her kind of move prematurely, so to say. So she'll be standing still when I actually make the turn I want to do. Sorry, a bit maybe like a confusing explanation. Anyway, so that's that. I skipped 4 days here, like without doing anything really. Mostly addressing like AI movement. Also, a bit an unfortunate thing is that now, because I skipped moves, it's day 7, and next day I will lose stables bonus, which I would have if I did not skip. So it kind of adds a little bit of a strain on my logistics here, so I either have to visit stables with every hero next day, or I will have a smaller movement pool basically. neither of which is actually a great news. And at this point my logistics are actually quite demanding. So that you know, if I didn't have to spend 4 days, skip 4 days there, that would be my final day of the playthrough. May sound crazy. But trust me, that's actually true. And just well, that's why I was skipping the days there. Just wanted to show you how to win this whole thing endgame in basically like 5 days, counting this day. What a terrible move there. How dare they close the door? I had to stash automatons to Elmore because towers would target them and I wouldn't have an ability to repair them. Now Elmore, with what he has, will go back to the boat. Most importantly, he has an admiral's hat. And with this whole thing, he's gonna go and trigger the red invasion and go straight to the first red hero, Zeron. So Gunnar basically continues clearing. Now that black tent is mine, like, he can basically clear everything, and I skipped most of it. Not really much of interest there. And that's basically an anti-magic garrison in the Bloodbath. So my goal here is to preserve Evil Eyes and Harpies. And I can sacrifice everything else, really. There are many shooters here, so might be a little bit of a problem. Okay, that was not very nice. Pit Lords basically face tanking the damage. Corpicors might be nice to keep alive a little bit. I actually should have killed the halberdiers there, but that's okay. So that they did not remove retaliation from Titans, but that did not matter. This garrison can be nicely used to stash units that you don't need. Or do need, but don't need this at this point. Lorelei will skip the turn there because she made it before. And very nice Legion arms there. You can retreat just wasting a couple of diagonal steps after you visit the boost, so that's kind of actually pretty handy for heroes who don't have town portal. But at this point none of my heroes have a town portal. And I moved Damakon here. He's gonna have an extremely... well, every hero is gonna have a very important role on a second day of the third week. That's gonna be a very big turn. So he stands next to stables like Geon, similarly to Geon, so that they would actually get the stables boost next day. And got into position for day 2. Yeah, the fact that I have to visit stables here is actually quite... or kind of either have to visit stables or have to skip stables. That is, not have a stables bonus early next week is actually... was pretty annoying because, well, Ayden in particular had a very hard time lining everything up. Kind of had to do a couple of like really like micro optimizations for him in order to kind of actually get him to be able to do his part. So I wouldn't have to do that, at least. At this point, I won't have multiple heroes doing multiple things fighting multiple fronts at the same time. They will be using the same artifact set from this point, so I basically join the artifacts more or less and compile a single artifact set that I can later pass around between my heroes. Since I already have Bloodbath access, I have all tents, I have a black tent, so my ability is actually relatively high right now around the map, so it would be easier if I need to pass items between heroes, for example, or army, even moving army around the map. Okay, collected a headpiece to get a bit of a knowledge boost for my... I will be doubling mana for a couple of my heroes, and I want to have maximum mana on all three, so at this point, like, my main heroes will be doing like very important jobs. So that's Gunnar, Dessa, and Ayden. They have all very important jobs for the next, or for the day after the next one. And so I basically want them to have maximum mana. Okay, and the Lorelei skips the turn, as I already said. He made her turn earlier when I was skipping days. Okay, so red invasion began. Red invaders will come one day later, so they will be out on day 2. And I have 1 day to prepare. This is the place where I get screwed, but I'm not sure I will be able to explain it without you seeing the actual goal here. So I think I may rather explain it in the next part. But kind of to give you an idea, There is a hero like very close nearby. He's behind a black border guard, I think. And there is a town kind of. He basically patrols around the town. And the idea is to steal this town with Elmore. The problem is that his patrol is actually kind of. He moves from one point to another point every week, and one of his points is actually this town, and another point is behind the town. So depending on the week, you either can do this, you can steal the town, or you can't steal the town. And the previous current record holder, he actually used this trick, as far as I know. I actually did not check this, but I know he mentioned that he used it before. So I think it means that he did use it. And since he came a little bit later than I did, I think he mentioned that he took last Keymaster tent on day 3 of week 3, I think. So it's like 2 days after like this day playing, and around like maybe a week later than I originally did. So he was a bit, in that sense, lucky that Xeron actually had his ass parked behind the town, not in the town. And so map author actually, after my crying, he added a second town in the vicinity that you can take with Elmore, in my case. And if you take it, you actually can do basically the same thing with like relatively small adjustments. So I'm happy, like, thanks to Francois again. He actually, like, jokes aside, he's very perceptive to the feedback, and thanks to him for listening to it. And honestly, it's not like even I'm asking it for myself, because at this point I'm obviously not gonna be rerunning this map to get like a slightly better time. I think I'm basically showing you that it's possible to at least do it in 42 days. And if not just for one thing, it's actually would be a 42 days finish. But everyone else who comes after me and wants to take over and set a new record, they would face the same problem basically. And without this change, trust me, it would be extremely difficult to... Well, maybe not extremely difficult, okay, I'm coping, maybe. At least it would be extremely difficult to... it would be impossible to play the endgame like as efficiently. Obviously you can play the endgame a little less efficiently and come maybe like a few days earlier. As I said, right, I skipped 4 days. Obviously I could have used those 4 days to kind of achieve the same goal earlier, or like maybe with less efficiency, maybe like 1 or 2 days before I did in this speedrun. But still kind of a little bit of an undue punishment, if you understand what I mean, for those who come faster. Okay, so it was one micro optimization I made here. So initially, when I was playing this part out, I was visiting Magic Spring with Dessa first, and then with Ayden. So Ayden would have to make another step on the Magic Spring. And it turned out that next day, when everything basically, my plan comes into the motion, when Ayden has to do his part, he is like, I don't know, 70 movement points short to do what he needs to do, basically. So that kind of was a little bit disappointing. Also, one thing to keep in mind, that because I skipped 4 days, I obviously have a lot of money that I would not have if I did not have to skip. That would be like a fair way to challenge my claim that like I could have done it in 42 days. But I think I still kind of have like some options, right? I could trade over 200 crystals, for example, for money. That's 50,000 gold. That's not bad. And as I mentioned, I could have, maybe before that, assemble more artifacts to sell. Maybe even at this point, could have found a way to do that with thanks to Bloodbath control. So there are some options for sure. Also because there is a garrison next to the barbarian town, the stronghold, in which I would be selling creatures. Well, wait, I'm actually confusing two things now. I was talking about artifacts, right? Yeah, there is there are dwellings behind color quest guards. I think there is a Minotaur stack that I could use to retreat against. I mean, it could work actually. I think I could have done the quick run by with one of my logist specialists and get back to one of the booster events. Thanks to, as I mentioned, the secondary rampart town of the purple player that is currently captured, actually, by the way, but it wasn't captured 4 days ago. So thanks to this town being pretty close to the Bloodbath, I think my hero would be able to come back through it and reach the boost event, and then basically would be free to go wherever I want. So I think it should actually work out fairly well. And as I talk about it, my heroes basically get into positions I need them. So Nemo will be sitting on this watering hole. It is the one case I mentioned before where I actually very much need this movement boost. Orange home distance from hometown to town gate is actually very high. I think I didn't measure it, but it's kind of very high in comparison to others. Maybe not highest, but definitely in the top. and it's kind of a one thing that helps me reach it with Nemo. And as I say that, it's kind of actually end of preparation, and the next day is gonna take, as I said, like 25 hours. But maybe it's like a rounding error, I don't know, rounding error of 24 hours or so. Who knows? Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Next part is gonna be final, and I hope to see you in that part. Please leave your feedback in the comments below, as usual, or even more than usual. That would be even greater. Okay, take care. Bye.